Well, folks, welcome to another Friday fishing forecast. And I want to apologize that we've gotten behind on some of the orders. I think we're pretty much caught up right now. We got very close to being flooded out here at the shop during the hurricane. Then we lost power, and so we couldn't do a lot. We had power banks that we were working with. One of them was by Owen, which is a 2,000 watt power bank, which allowed us to run both of our pots, a fan, and charge a phone at the same time. So we were able to do some work, but then that eventually went out when you're running that much stuff off of one thing like that. But we got some work done, but now we're finally catching up. So thank you for the patience with that. The fishing's been up and down. We went yesterday. I took some sponsors out. I took Ron from Siberian Coolers. I took Brian and Jen Wilson from Palmetto Bait and Tackle, and I took Eli from High Sources Incorporated. And the bite was slow. We had to jump around a lot. There wasn't a lot of current. We caught some hogfish. We missed some gags. We caught some red grouper, caught some smaller mangroves, caught some huge lane snapper, strawberry grouper. We fished in about the 50 to 55 foot range, but we had to jump around a lot. And I figured that was going to be the case simply because of the tide being as slow as it was going to be. I knew that it was going to be a little bit more difficult to go and target fish and get on them on a really good bite. We didn't stay out there long enough to hit the minor. We missed the major by about a half an hour by the time we got out there. But we caught fish. We had a good time. But I've heard the bay bite has been up and down, up and down, up and down. I've heard to where there's the snapper bite has been really good, and then one day the grouper bite is excellent, and then the next day the grouper bite is horrible. So it's really weird. I'm not quite sure what's going on with it, but I've heard the snapper bite has been pretty consistent. So if you're targeting those, you can definitely get into those. The snook, redfish, and trout, I haven't heard too much about those. So if you're going to go out and fish for those, there's definitely a hard outgoing tide from mid-morning until afternoon time. That's going to be the tide that you want to hit. And if you're going to fish for snook, redfish, and trout, we have seen some tarpon in the river. If you're interested in fishing for tarpon in the river, there's definitely some tarpon around this stretch of river that we're in. So you can target those. But like I said, the grouper and snapper, if I was going to fish for them inside the bay, I definitely would fish first thing in the morning, because you'll see on the tides when we talk about those, it's going to be a very long incoming tide, and then it's going to flatten out for a while and then finally go down. Those would be the tides. I would definitely hit the minor feeding or the major feeding time that's in the morning on those. Bait is on the flats. It's getting a little bit better, a little bit bigger, but it's still relatively in the small arena. We went through 200 shrimp yesterday trying to get hogfish, and we caught hogfish, but there was a lot of grunts and things like that. So we went through a lot of shrimp. If you're wanting to target hogfish, they're out there. We have a video that's going to be coming up here in the next few days where we caught 11 keeper hogfish. We caught gag grouper, all in less than 60 feet of water. So they're there. You just got to have patience to fish for them. So let's go ahead and get into the tides and solunars for this weekend and see what we have in store for the tides and solunars. Okay, Saturday we have a high tide at 9:14 a.m. at a 2.4 foot. Then we have a low tide at 5:34 p.m. at a 0.5 foot. Then on Sunday we have a high tide at 10:32 a.m. at a 2.5 foot. Then we have a low tide at 6:21 p.m. at a 0.4 foot. The solunars on Saturday, we have a major feeding time from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Then we have a minor feeding time from 4:18 p.m. to 5:18 p.m. Then on Sunday, we have a major feeding time from 9:19 a.m. to 11:19 a.m. Then we have a minor feeding time from 5:01 p.m. to 6:01 p.m. All right, I had to move inside. The rain is coming. And I'm seeing some conflicting reports on weather. I'm seeing some of the weather sites are saying that there's like a 30% chance of rain. Some of them are saying there's no chance of rain. Today has been on the coast. We've had a lot of storms. It rained pretty heavily earlier this morning. From the future radar, what I'm looking at, I'm seeing a lot of storms pop up right on the coast in the morning and then offshore in the afternoon, and then later in the evening, more storms on the coast. So I told Chad I'm a little bit leery because they haven't steered me wrong. Matter of fact, we had a couple storms offshore on Thursday, and I told the guys, I said, these are not going to move. These are actually popping up right where I saw them pop up. They're going to sit there and they're going to rain themselves out. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And it turned out to be a beautiful day. But there's a lot of storms that are popping up for Saturday offshore. And it's making me a little nervous simply because of where they're popping up and then their movement towards land. So we'll have to just wait and see, play it by ear, get up in the morning, see the radar, look at the radar, and see what we're going to do. Now, I also wanted to talk about, we have a new retailer, which is St. Pete Fishing Outfitters. They got a bunch of our jigs in this last week. They're having their 8-year anniversary on September 30th from 9 to 6. There's going to be 4 different speakers. I'm one of them, Vance Tice, Captain Dylan Hubbard, and Captain Glenn Taylor. So there's 4 different speakers. They're going to have food. They're going to have raffle. They're going to have all kinds of stuff out there. So if you're not doing anything on the 30th of September, and I will continue to talk about this, come out and see us. Join us for the seminars. Like I said, they are carrying our jigs now, so they're the only retailer in St. Pete that are carrying our jigs. So stop by and see them at St. Pete Fishing Outfitters. We want to say thank you to them for getting with us and being part of what we're doing with the whole Fishing Outfitters group. We have 1 store left, and that's Tampa, and we'll see if we get them or not. I don't actively go out looking for stores. They come to us. We're as busy as we can be right now, so it's crazy. Again, I just want to say thank you so much. Just watch the weather. The winds are going to be low, except for when you get into the storms. It's blowing pretty good right now, but just watch the storms. Be careful out there. Fish more, catch more, and we'll see you on the flip side.